In light of my recent statues video, I'd like to build for you today a alpine-themed statue on the top of this here mountaintop. If you do this fast enough, it looks like the head is fixed and the body's moving around like a little a ping pong tab. Oh my goodness, I can't pronounce it. Ping pong paddle. That's pretty funny. Sorry, I've just been amusing myself instead of building. This is kind of funny. Also, you might hear in the background my cat is sitting on my lap right now, and she's purring quite loudly, so I'm not quite sure how much is getting picked up in the microphone, so sorry for any residual noises. So, the first step for this is building a base. Since this statue is going to be pretty large, standing on its own it will look a little bit awkward, I feel. Plus, the base will help blend it into its surroundings, which happen to be this mountain right now, which means that I want to kind of match the materials with the mountain. So I've chosen kind of this, and this, quartz, stone, and clay to start with. I'm going to try to build a sizable base using them. I might change the materials up, but this is what I've got in mind for now. And here it is. Now, you might think at first glance that it's overly simple, and that's by design, because I don't want the base to be super duper complicated and detail oriented, because then it will detract from the statue, which is supposed to be the focus of the build. This is just supposed to be the footing. It's supposed to hold up the statue, so I want to make it simple enough that it doesn't outshine the statue, if that makes any sense. Now that we have the base in place, I'm going to start by outlining the sort of shape I want for the statue. I still haven't decided what exactly I want to make a statue of, but that'll be in the process of making the shape. We're just gonna wing it. We're gonna go on the fly here. So I think I have an idea of what kind of figure I'm going to go for with this statue, and that's going to be that of a robed being, sort of a humanoid being that's going to be very tall and very slender, hence the tiny base versus the height of it. Now, this is supposed to be a cane, and these are supposed to be alternate arms kind of resting on top of the cane. And now what I'm going to do is just work out the shoulder proportions and the robe proportions, because this isn't going to have any visible legs. It's all going to be kind of one big column, so it makes it a little bit easier for me. One thing that I think is incredibly important to keep in mind when building statues of this scale is to color code your blocks. Oops, I went too high with that because I was talking. To color code your blocks, because it's a lot easier to visualize what you want to do if your intended placeholders are color-coded in a way that you can tell them apart. If for example, I built this frame all out of one color, it would be difficult for me to see which is supposed to be what when I look at it back from this. From this angle. Now you can see here, I've kind of messed up on the angle here, so I'm going to change that. And it's a lot easier to see when it's blue and the arms are red and orange respectively. So it just makes your life a whole lot easier, especially when building in creative. It's always nice to have colors to plan things out. It's definitely worth the extra time spent replacing them once you actually start filling in the blocks. Trust me, it might seem like a waste of time at first, but it really is worth it. I've gone and built things in the past where I've spent hours just trying to figure out where things are supposed to be because everything happens to be the same color. So don't fall into the same pitfalls as I did. Unless you want to. I mean, that's up to you. If you want to have a big challenge, go right ahead. Alright, there we go. I think this is a good shape to start with. I'm pretty happy with it. And I've left the head intentionally blank because I don't want to build it and then have to move it again. Because I don't have world edit on this world, so I'm going to have to, I would have to rebuild it entirely if I needed to move it even one block, which is a little bit of a pain. So in order to avoid that, I'm going to build the rest of the body first, deal with any height changes I might have, and then build the head once I'm happy with everything else. Now that I have most of the body blocked in, the arms are little chicken arms. These are cute. Well, actually, no, chickens don't have arms, do they? No, the equivalent of chicken legs. There we go. Yeah, I'd better do something about that. Anyways, this is looking just perfect. I'm quite enjoying the way this is turning out, and doing the frame has definitely helped, so I highly recommend it when building statues of this scale. Well, that took quite a lot longer than I was expecting. These arms were a pain in the rear end. I've actually moved the staff forward one, and I've added these walls to the sides to make it look a little bit more substantial. It was kind of drowning in the massive arms. They turned out bigger than I thought I would, but in order to make them look not chicken-like on this figure, I had to kind of buff them out. Plus, it's supposed to be wearing a robe, so it's got lots of cloth kind of hanging down. I tried to do. So yeah, this is pretty cool. What I'm going to do now is detail it with slabs and walls and stairs, and I'm going to try to plot out the head a little bit. when I put the walls in place, they actually didn't look that good, and the reason was, I think, is that they kind of messed up the smooth simplicity I currently have on this figure. Now, I also tried another thing, which was to put cyan terracotta, the gray stuff. It's a funky shade of gray. It's right there. I tried to put this stuff around the base and kind of gradually transition it into the anthracite, and it also looked quite messy. So I think I'm going to go for a more simple theme with this. That's kind of the consensus I'm getting from all these failures with detailing. I'll actually build up side with some anthracite wall so you can see what I mean and why I don't like it. Here it is, and you can see why I don't like it. It's just too spotty. It messes with the smooth kind of shape that this figure has become, which actually is kind of interesting. I wasn't intending it to be ultra smooth, but it ended up turning out that way anyways. And that's pretty much all the detailing I need to do for the body, I think. The only place I've used walls is underneath the arms here, which I think makes it look pretty cool. It looks like draped cloth, almost, or like he's got some frills on his sleeves, which I think is a neat touch, and it actually brings a lot to it, in my opinion. Anyways, now I'm going to start plotting out the head like I said I was going to do a few sections ago, but I didn't, so yeah, let's do it in yellow. And there we have a nice yellow head with a fancy purple hood, which won't be purple when I'm done with it. Actually, no, the purple won't fit, but in another statue maybe. Future video. I kind of like the yellow, especially with the blue backdrop, seeing as it looks a lot like the color palette used in the old Lego Space minifigures. If you remember that, the minifigures' heads were yellow and their spacesuits were blue, just like that blue. It's actually the resemblance is quite startling. Anyways, I'm gonna do the face now. If we're not keeping this, unfortunately. And there we have it. I've tried to make it look like a very old, cold man, just kind of shivering there, clutching his cane, also looking very serene at the same time. I've replaced the stone brick walls with cobble walls just to make this cane stand out a little better, and I've made his sleeves have the same rings as his hood, which is made out of clay, which I think looks pretty cool. Anyways, that's it for this build. I hope you enjoyed watching, and more importantly, I hope you gained some kind of inspiration from this to go build statues in your own worlds. Thank you very much for watching if you've reached this far, and have a fantastic day. Hopefully, I'll see you next time.